Last week, we talked about the why of being a teacher. And this week, we're going to continue to do so. Last week, we talked about two specific things that can assist us in the why of being a teacher. Making sure that we have a strong plan in how we are going to teach so that we know whether we are on point or not, and making sure that we can identify student problems so that we can teach them how to recognize these issues and solve them on their own. In this week's lesson, I want to give you two additional tips that you can use to help answer the question of why in the classroom. This week we're going to start by me asking you a series of questions. Number one, do you teach a product, a service, or an area of knowledge which is useful? Hopefully the answer to that question is yes. Do you make money doing this teaching job that you have that you are using to educate others? If you're not receiving money, are you receiving some other tangible benefit? Are the students who have been in your class in the past enjoying the benefits of the knowledge that they have gained, or are they using those points of information and education in their life? My guess is yes. Last question. Are you able to keep all of the money or all of the tangible benefit that you receive from doing this educating? I'm afraid to say that my answer to this is probably no. So, who's getting the better deal here? You are earning money for educating someone, and someone is walking away with an education. The money or the tangible benefit that you earn is probably being removed in taxes or being used to feed your family, or it's a fun feeling that you've got that may eventually go away. But the person who's receiving this education, they've gained something for a lifetime. Now, the reason for this discrepancy may be that you're busy focused on the money that you'll make. You're busy focused on what you're going to do with the money that you have. You're busy waiting for that feeling of goodness to come. And maybe the next time you teach, you're looking forward to that feeling of goodness more than you are thinking about what it is that you're doing right there at that very moment. You are teaching because it is your job. You're teaching because it's a great career option. But the students are learning because they want something different. They are learning because they want that knowledge itself. They're learning because they want to be able to gain the benefit of the knowledge. So take this point to heart. The wants of you as a teacher and the want of the student are not the same. The student is learning for their own reasons. Therefore, not everything that matters to you will matter to the student, and not everything that matters to the student will matter to you. So, a very important point here, as we've mentioned earlier, is you want to make sure that there is a practical application to what it is that you are teaching. Now, this may not be easy for everyone. For instance, if you were trying to teach astrology or astronomy, you may not be able to find an everyday use for the heat of the heart of a sun, but still you can walk them through the calculations of making that happen. The second thing that you want to remember is that students are not buying your class. They're not even buying your education. They're buying what your education can do for them. Make sure you're bringing that to heart. People will always have different reasons for what they're doing, just like they'll have different reasons for buying shoes. Do they need thick, rugged shoes? Do they need soft, flexible shoes? Do they need light, sporty shoes? The truth of the matter is, they have their own reasons for why they're buying what they're buying and why they're using what they're using. The same is exactly true of the education you are providing. The education will give them a benefit, and the benefit that they receive is worth the money. It's worth the time. It's worth the effort. Is it a job? Is it a chance at getting into a bigger class, a higher education component? Is it going on to a different school? What is it that your education can give a student? When you're giving out the education, make sure that you are pointedly noting what it is that the student will learn, what it is the student will earn with that education. Because they're looking for the benefit, and the student may not get everything that you think they're going to get. They're only going to get the benefit of the product. So, when someone asks, what is it that you teach? Instead of saying, I teach math, or I teach English, you may want to say something specifically regarding the benefit each student will receive, such as, I teach students how to get a real-world job, or I provide students with the confidence to step out into the workplace and make a worthwhile career as a manager. To apply this information in your classroom today, concentrate on why the students want the education that you are giving them and what benefits they will receive through excellent learning and doing their best. Both of these can be found by asking the students before and after your class what benefits they've achieved. So, when you are looking at this material at a later date, or if you find you are revisiting this material, why not hold exit interviews with your students? Find out what it is that they've truly gained, find out what it is that they've truly used, and find out what it is that they were able to learn in your class through practical application, which had real-world implications in allowing them to be successful in the workplace.